Okay, Yasir.
Love. Oh. Hindi ko alam. Hindi pa kinancel.
Yasir. You can hear me, Yasir? Salman sahab, Yasir hai na?
He's here, but I think he's mute. So maybe a little bit on the side.
Hi, Yasir.
Yeah.
Yasir bhai, to you.
Assalamualaikum. Asif bhai, are we live recording this?
Yeah, we are live on YouTube. I will share the link also. क्योंकि वो ICAEW वाला नहीं मिल रहा था, मैंने भी कर दिया है. आप co-host, you can start the proceeding now.
Chale, perfect. Thank you very much, Asif bhai. On behalf of UAE chapter of ICAEW members, I welcome everybody on this session, which has been organized by Asif Zaman, Salman Sajid Saab, and Faisal Bashir, Govind Saab, for our members in particular who are taking this route. And then this is not for the first time that these gentlemen are coming forward to help our members. I think I've been seeing them mentoring more than 200 people over the past 4 or 5 years. And then this is what is the need of the moment, I think. And I'm glad that our senior members are taking the front seat in mentoring many other members to follow. So Asif bhai, you've been members since I think more than 5-6 years, and then I think similarly Salman Saab has been a member through ICAEW pathways. So learning from somebody who is experienced in that is a privilege for all of us. So over to you, Asif bhai, please.
See, by grace of Almighty Allah, Alhamdulillah, I am now the council member for GCC also, and this golden chance for all our members, community members, to become the ICAEW member also, in addition to been an ICAP member. With us is Salman Sajid Saab, and Faisal have some emergency. With this, our Mr. Govind Ram Khatri is there, and he's I think MENA region head for IFRS, and Salman Sajid is the partner for Baker Tilly, now is stationed in Riyadh, and is in switching from UAE and everything like that. We'll start our proceeding about the ICAEW pathway membership. कैसे आती है, क्या है, क्या नहीं है. After presentation, anybody have question they can ask. To you, Salman. उसके बाद फिर गोविंद साहब आएंगे. They will tell you the expertise, how we can help our fellow members to become members of ICAEW through pathways. To you, Salman Sajid.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Yasser and Asif Saab. It's always pleasure working with you. I would say that Asif Zaman is a pioneer of ICA Pathways program in the region. And I've been knowing him for past 6-7 years. And I think I remember that first event was arranged by him with the collaboration of ICAEW team. The lady Samantha Starbucks was there, and we had number of early sessions. But before starting it, I would just like to request Mr. Govind to introduce himself, and then with the participant permission, I can start the presentation. So over to
Sure.
you, Mr. Govind, please, sir.
Sure, thank you. Thanks a lot. You can hear me, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my name is Govind Khatri. I'm a director in EY MENA, based in Dubai. So I look after the IFRS desk of the entire MENA region. I am a member of ICAEW since 2009. So those were the early days when they started Pathways program on a trial basis. So I got through membership of ICAEW through Pathways during that time, back in 2009. So that's all, and happy to answer any questions that our participants have during the call.
No worries, sir. Thank you very much. So with your permission now, obviously I can start the presentation. If anybody else wants to join or anything are there, so we will be able to answer all the requirements. Let's say, so should I start now? So
Yes,
today,
please.
basically, the agenda will cover what is the introduction of the ICAEW, who can join ICAEW program through Pathways, and why members should do ICAEW through the Pathways program, and what are the requirements or prerequisites for doing this thing. So today I will be just having, because most of the members are aware of the requirements. So obviously we will be able to cover everything, on a high level. But if any question, technical question or any queries there, so we'll be able to answer it in very much detailed manner. And that's what. So, everyone knows about ICAEW. It is founded in 1880. And the charter was issued by the Queen, Her Majesty, at that point of time. It's headquartered in London, UK, whereas the other offices are based in Beijing, Brussels, Dubai, Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Hong Kong, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, Shanghai, and Singapore. So predominantly, there are close to 190,000 chartered accountants and students in over 150 countries. And more than 6,000 employees are authorized by the ICAEW. Why ICAEW? Because it's a mother organization of all the accountants, especially in the Commonwealth countries, because the accounting profession in all those parts of the world were developed under the British Crown, and then each country has set up their own accounting firm, accounting framework, or the accounting bodies like in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and other countries also. So again, obviously out of 83 FTFC, 100 companies have ICAEW members on the board, and there are all leading brands are basically based in that. Now in the region, ICAEW has presence since 2009. I know before that you have to appear for the exam via British Council. But since 2009, there is a basically offices there. Based on these updated numbers, Middle East, there are roughly 1100, but I think this number is a bit old. Maybe right now there will be around 1300 members into that side. Miasa region also, you can consider that roughly close to 3,500 members in the Middle East and South Asia network are there. Student number is roughly 1,800. Now, under the CFAP program, many emerging fresh graduates or fresh students who have completed their old A-level studies, they can join ICAEW through a CFAP program. So these are the quite active way. I think that's it's become now much more easier. And now many companies like Emirates NBD, Mubadala, Emaar, Oman Arab Bank, SAB, Al Marai, or Zahid Tractors Group, they are sponsoring Saudi, Omani, or Bahraini, or UAE national male and female student for the ICAEW program. So there are two ways: either they can join after completing their 12th standard through CFAP program, or they can complete the graduation and then they can join this one. So the other thing is, obviously, they're working quite closely with the SOPCA in Saudi for the advancement of the profession. So what is the pathways? The pathways is, the entry to the ICAEW membership. If you are qualified member of ICAEW or any other accounting institution, so there may be colleagues from the other institutes like ICAEI or any other. The entry requirements from all this professional memberships are predominantly the same. There is no difference into that. If we sum up who can join through this one, so this program is specially designed for people who have already spent minimum 5 years of post-qualification experience in the industry or in profession or in any other side, and who can basically join ICAEW and who can basically augment their financial, the educational qualification and network through the Pathways program. And, the people from all over the world apply for that. But as we know that Southeast Asia or South Asia has the mainly the most concentration of world population. So it's being quite popular in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. These countries provide quite a lot of accountants who opt for this one. In Middle East, we see, a lot of people are basically joining through this Pathways program. So again, I would say, so what are the benefits of basically, as I explained you, the career support and the development, then you have information services, technical advice is there, global reach and influence is there, and member group and networking is there. So there is a saying that your network is called your net worth. So ICAEW being the oldest accounting organization or entity in the world, it has the highest number of accountants in terms of, obviously, in terms of overall accountants, ICAEI is the largest one, but in terms of geographical spread, I think it is one of the oldest and well spread organization globally. They provide quite a bit, the advisory services, helpline in terms of career support, development, learning and development program is there, and there are further, the qualitative benefits of being part of this ICAEW program. Again, you provide the technical advice, the career advice. There are various faculties there. The people can join there and they can be part of that. I think majority of the technical groups, or these are on the complementary basis. I think there are only a couple of them which you have to pay for a subscription, like corporate finance or IFRS based things. So these are the things which I think they provide this one. The most important benefit is basically, the member groups and the networking. We regularly see the events which is supported by the ICAEW. Normally we have iftar every year, and then a members annual dinner, which happens, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years. regularly, and many people participate, and it provides us quite a bit of networking and business opportunity. We see. Besides that, they arrange technical sessions like it was done for the, I attended it for the IPO versus SPEC thing. And there are other events also which are being organized. So I think what we have witnessed is that ICAEW is quite vocal in those things, into that thing. Just on the other side, our office is just next to them, so they are our neighbors also. So this is one of the points which obviously I can see onto that side. The other benefit it gives you is that you can be a member of a Chartered Accountants worldwide network, because ICAEW is one of the promoter of this program, and it gives you, besides that, you can get the business finance professional designation with that thing. So these are the few of the benefits which obviously you go into that. Obviously, it increases your job prospects. You are eligible for UK or Europe or English speaking countries, and that gives you benefit into that side also. Now, Mr. Asif, you would like to say, or should I continue? That thing is, please.
Please continue.
Okay.
This
no worries.
ICAEW, you have given a brief description of ICAEW, and then for especially our members, it's a very good opportunity to acquire a second degree for ICAEW, which gives them exposure. हमें exposure ज़्यादा मिलता है और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में, क्योंकि मालूम है हमारी डिग्री itself is a prestigious degree, but we will have a upper hand अगर भी हमारे पास one additional degree होती है is certification for ICAEW. And I see that many of the jobs, especially in MENA region, उसके अंदर अगर आपके पास ICAP के साथ ICAEW है, तो it helps you getting your job, securing job as compared to the other contestant. Carry on, please, Salman sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, because I don't want to take the launch share of this thing. So that is one of the reason I requested you. So what are the requirements? As I've explained you, that you must have a 5 full year membership prior to the date of submission. So it is the date of the membership. It's a post-qualification experience. So there may be some candidates who pass the exam, but they did not have the membership. So the 5-year period basically start from the date when you are member of that organization entity. The other thing is the CPD or CP requirements. Your CPDRs or CPE must be fully compliant, and you need a letter of good standing from your institute. The first or the original degree, which is basically your core degree, that should be from the normal training path. So it could not be that I get either ACCA or ICAP or any other degree through, not through the normal way or through the exemption way, and that's it. So your first degree must be through the normal training route. That means that you have passed all the exams, you have completed all the training requirements, and that is basically the things. The second requirement is that letter of good standing from the institute that you are CPD compliant and you have paid your annual fees also. So that is the third thing is obviously your answer will be supported by a sponsor, that you have to look for some sponsor who can review your questions and who can sign on that you have this experience, or whatever the experience or the responses you have prepared, these are genuine, and he can basically vet on that thing. And then based on that, you have to submit your response into that side is there. So the letter of good standing is basically that should be dated within 3 months of the submission deadline. So for example, now the deadline is 13th September. So anywhere letter before 3 months, 90 days before that date will be valid. If you haven't applied it, ICAP normally provides you in 1 day. It doesn't take much time. Hardly if you apply on the weekend, then it may take 2 days. And there is no fees for that. So obviously you don't have to worry about it on that side is. Now the sponsor support is, as I've explained, is that the sponsor should know you. He hold the full and current membership of full IFAC member body. They can be a ACCA member, or they can be a ICAI, ICAP, ICAB, or other institute full body member. That can be your sponsor. And the requirement, as I've explained you, that your first degree must be through the normal education and the training route. So that is how basically the way, and the sponsor must also be CPD or CPD compliant. So the requirement of CPD compliance applies to the candidate also and to the sponsor also. And the sponsor must also present his letter of good standing from the professional body to the application. And that also goes with that submission also. So now we come to the question examination of experience. What it is? It is basically that you need to answer the 5 questions based on your last 5-year experience. So first requirement is, if any experience which is more than the 5 years old, we cannot present it as part of our, this exam or this case study. The question seek evidence of the skills ranging from identification issue to the advice, and then basically the exam will be open book exam. There is no invigilator. You can use whatever sources, research mechanism, whatever way is basically is required. Again,
Salman Saab, sorry to interrupt. Could you also scroll down the screen as you move along for us to read as well?
I'm on this page, so I will follow this thing.
Oh, okay.
So the other point is basically that say the technical answers will not be likely. So maybe I can produce a CAPM theory, or I apply that I've done a Black-Scholes models to anything that will not attract more marks. Say that I have done a very complex DD or a transaction. This will not give me the marks. So there is a structured way the questions are organized, and that's way things are. I will cover it in the next slides. So the pass marks are 55. I would say the 5 marks are for the cleanliness, which obviously doesn't apply now because the answers are typed now. And the total words for each question they should not cross 4,500 words. So now I basically come to the questions. Let's say that first 4 questions have 2 parts, and then the last question covers the ethical part. So basically, the first 2 questions, 1.1 and 1.2, they cover how we have identified a business and a professional issue. These questions address on that. What we have seen over the period also, that the candidates or the applicants try to add so many things, and they say that how they resolve this issue. This is not required. So first issue is, once we have reached to a place or we started doing work, what was event or our observation which triggered a red flag or observation. So the first 2 answer questions, our response should be that what prompted us, or what basically led us to see that this area there are few issues. So for example, we see company sales is increasing, but debtors are increasing quite rapidly, or we see the provision of bad food debtors are high, or we see the payables are getting extended, companies facing working capital issues. So these questions basically first 2 identifies the steps, that what was our trigger point, how we started it, what analysis or steps we have performed, and what methodology we have applied or used to reach to this point, that there is some red flag or there is some issue regarding that thing. So that covers the question 1.12. The second issue is that how you have used your technical expertise or business knowledge to analyze the situation. So this is step 2. So first is, I have seen that there is a smoke. So how you identified that is a smoke. Now you see you go closer and you see there is a fire. So you have to identify which kind of fire is there. So once you look at the feasibility and you see the IRR of that project is 6% only, so you can see that this is not possible right now because the interbank rate is roughly 5.5 and the cost of debt is there. So it means my project is not viable. Or you have identified an issue that the financial statements, there is a material restatement, or there is a revision of the estimate kind of thing is there, or there is a retrospective application of the depreciation methodology. So you have to see that you have to apply your, the technical expertise or business knowledge. Right now, there are tax and VAT are being quite, in demand. So you see if a company formed a tax group, but you see the ownership structure is not like that. So the second question basically that how you have applied your skills to or knowledge to analyze a situation. So for example, any company is having an inventory pilferages there. So you have to check is that how you have applied the skills or what procedures you have applied to cover those things are. Then the third question is that your professional judgment between choosing two options. So normally the people give two very examples. It's a buy versus lease example, or you have to either fund it through the debt or through the equity. I'm sorry, I'm giving more, explanation related to the corporate finance or the transaction advisory because my field is like that. So that's why you can see that it's better for you to buy the equipment or the lease the equipment for this thing, or you have to finance it. What are the pros and cons are there, or maybe company want to run the accounting department itself, or they want to do the outsourcing. So these are the few things, decisions are that how you have used your judgment, the professional judgment in choosing between the options. And the third and the fourth question is basically that how you have used your technical knowledge or practical experience to advise. So for example, earlier the taxation was not here, but now with the taxation, the question of deferred taxation or for the transactions, you have to apply your that knowledge. Similarly, you can see that whether any project is feasible for you or not to go for that, or you have to outsource your production, or you have to hire a team to do the delivery or the project, some of the functions or the operations you want to outsource. Or for example, you have a fleet of cars and you say that whether you want to maintain them in-house or you want to do the outsource, and what was basically your technical knowledge, how you have applied and practical experience into that thing. And these are the 4 questions. So each question have 2 parts, 1.1, 2.1, 2, 3, and 4. And the last question is basically how you have dealt with the ethical issue. So in because we do accounting and the related tasks, so obviously we see quite a lot of ethical issues in terms of reporting expenses, cash management, maybe inventory, or maybe compliance procedures. Maybe we check with the AML thing, with the KYC things. So in case, if we have faced an ethical issue, how we have basically resolved that, or how we attended that scenario. So we need to present it. So these are the basically 5 questions. And if you see here, there are, let's say, 80 points for basically for the 8 questions. Question number 5 has 10 points, whereas we can cover the ethical issue, and 10 points obviously are for the good presentation, language, and use of experience. So the total marks are basically 100, and the 55 are the passing marks which are required. Now, basically, what are basically the requirements? Next step is that you can register from the 3rd September for this thing. There are a lot of material, reading materials, resources, documents, exam guides are available. You can contact Doug. I think he has moved now to UK for that work. Attend on-demand webinars and online workshops. So this is today's presentation is a part of basically the awareness webinar that what are the requirements for the ICAEW Pathway program. Then you have to register yourself on the website. And once your exams are done, then you can do that. So the deadline is basically on 30th September 2020. 2:30 GMT is the time where basically you can finish it. And once you submit your response, then obviously if you're successful, you will be invited to join the ICAEW and have 1 year to join going on the delay membership. If you're not successful, you can resubmit the question. But in case if not able to clear the exam first try, you only have to submit the response in the questions which we are not able to pass. So for example, out of 9, so if 2 questions are cleared, not pass or not successful, so you only have to redo these 2 questions. Rest 7 will be accepted as it is. So that will give you quite a bit confidence. The examiner comments are there. Normally they are quite brief, but obviously they will be able to give you the idea. You can always talk to your mentor, your friends, the colleagues who have done that. And this is basically on that side. So this is from my side. I think if there are any questions, now the floor is open and we are happy to respond on that also.
Any question? Anybody have any question? किसी कोई सवाल है? भाई गोविंद साहब.
Yes, sir.
सर आप अपना एक्सपर्ट जरा ओपिनियन दें. गोविंद साहब इज वेरी एक्सपर्ट ऑन दिस थिंग्स एंड देन प्लीज कैन यू हेल्प आउट.
No problem.
लोगों को बताएं थोड़ा. Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah. No problem. So hello everyone. As I mentioned before that I was one of those initial members who went through this process back in 2009. So as soon as I saw this opportunity, I thought maybe it's better to grab it. No doubt Pakistani qualification is excellent, but having an additional qualification like ICAEW membership is a good add-on on your CV, especially if you want to work in Middle East or Europe or even in Pakistan as well. It's considered as one of the prestigious qualification alongside ICAEW membership. So very briefly, I just want to give few tips and tricks on how to attempt this examination of experience, because since 2009, I have been helping or mentoring a good few people who have successfully been through this process. So there are from my side, there'll be 5 do's that if you do it, and inshallah, you'll be able to clear your examination of experience without any delay. So the first one is the use of the material on the ICAEW website. So they have given the template or example questions and answers, both for the audit and practice related questions. So go through it, try to understand what they are saying it, how are they actually writing it, and how are they trying to demonstrate the experience that you have gained during 5 years, and then look back your experience and see what are the similar areas that I have come across during my experience and how can I demonstrate them. So the first and fundamental thing is to have a look at the ICAEW website, look at the material that they have available, specifically the questions and answers that they have there. The second one is for each of the questions, maybe if you come up with more than one scenario, always, I think it will be very, very easy. If you look back on your 5 years experience, you will be definitely you will have more than one situations that will come in your mind. So better to have more than one and then try to visualize it and then see which one is the best one that can demonstrate your experience more technically or expertly, that your message is conveyed to the examiner, and so that they can give you the pass marks on that questions. So more than one situations for each question would definitely going to help you, and then you will have a choice to see which one is better, which one I can drop out. And then the next one is, as Salman mentioned, these questions are not too technical. So answers required are not technical. Don't think that if you put more technical data into it, that you will pass the questions, which is other way around. If you don't minimize the use of technical words or technical language there, then there are good chances that you might get through the exams. Like simple words, use of the calculator, use of the Excel formula, small Excel formula, this and that, and anything that does not sound too technical, because what they are looking at to see your experience and expertise that you have got during the 5 years period, that commensurate with a member of ICAEW. So don't be too technical on any question. Just be very simple. If you look at the ICAEW example questions as well, they are very, very simple, simply worded. And the last one is, of course, you know your experience, okay? You can better write it, but I still suggest that once you finish writing it, have it peer reviewed from someone who has been through this process. So what they will do, they will guide you on, of course, you have worded your own experience, but they can guide you what words to use that can demonstrate your experience and expertise on this example that you are putting it forward. So idea would be to get it reviewed, peer reviewed by any of your friend who has been through this process before. So that will definitely going to add more onto your, positively onto your questions. Now coming to the what you should not be doing it, what I have seen people doing it is that they just copy paste from the examples given on the ICAEW. Don't do this. I think if you think through, maybe for half an hour, I'm sure that during your 5 years experience, you will come up with so many situations similar to that, that you can write on your own rather than copying from the ICAEW. You can copy their wording there, okay? Like sometimes you can use that I have used the calculator and I have spoken to my colleague and this and that, but don't copy the entire situation. And don't rush. What I have seen people that they take it easy, and when it comes to the deadline, all of a sudden they rush it, and then whatever they have in mind, they just write it down and then send it on. That don't do it, because you have plenty of the time. Take it easy, think through, write it, get it reviewed, and go it easily rather than rushing it. Although it's not an invigilated exam, but you have to be careful that they are trying to gauge your experience and expertise, okay? And they want to, so you have to demonstrate that you are as good as those members of ICAEW who have passed all their examinations. So you have to be very careful. Although it's not invigilated, but you have to be careful on what words to use, how to demonstrate your experience, and so on. That's, I think, so don't rush it, basically. Don't leave the things for the last minute. And that's all from my side. If anyone has any questions, then happy to answer them as well.
Hi, sir. I have one question.
Mhm.
Here, this is you have mentioned that the 5 years of experience we need to demonstrate in these examination. So someone has a different experience in different industries, like F&B or trading, oil and gas, and then practice. So what area we should focus, or we should focus on the industry which we have a more experience, or we can use any scenario?
I think you can use any scenario. It should be throughout your 5 years tenure, isn't it? So you can use any experience that you have got, as long as it matches the requirement of the question, then it does not make much difference. Because when I was part of the core audit at that time, then I moved to advisory, and then I moved to IFRS specialty. So when I wrote my examination of experience, I covered all these 3 areas throughout my 5 years experience. So it all depends on what situation is very good for you to demonstrate the experience that they are looking for in each question.
Yeah, in fact, there is no compulsion of anything.
Yeah.
You can have a multi-experience, multi-service line, multi-industry. In fact, this is an additional benefit to you that you can cover various industries and then
That's
you
right.
can demonstrate your skills and experience. So instead of disadvantage, consider it as an advantage because your view is more holistic and more diverse. So that is only the added advantage to you, which will be considered in marking.
Second thing is this, how the weightage are given to each question, that if I have written first, so any kind of parameter that how examiner give marks to each scenario, or on what basis?
Yeah, obviously, if you see the guidelines, there is a document that how the marks are assigned. And there is a list there. If you have a look at the document, there are things which do's and don'ts. So there is a list of all the things that what is required from a candidate for this question. So, and there are certain phrases or certain things which examiner or the ICAEW has pointed out that you are not required to do this in question. So if you do that, your grading will drop. The idea is to, because each person, maybe we are doing work in the same company or we are same department, each person carries a different experience and that individuality is there and they want to see that thing. So it will be again as per your benefit. But again, the most important thing is to read the guidelines which are issued, and there are for each questions, but don't copy it. This is one of the requirement, and I think and these are elaborated in detail.
A lot, sir.
Anyone else have any question? Okay, this I will give you an example. Is that one that whatever you are writing, it has to be in correct tense. So make sure your grammar is correct. You can install Grammarly, you can use Grammarly. Correct, Mr. Salman? So ये चीजें का आप थोड़ा सा ख्याल रखें कि आपके टेंसेस
But
सही
don't use Chat GPT. I would say don't use Chat GPT. Plagiarism is, will be immediately identified. There are softwares for that.
Yes. प्लेजिज्म जो है वो प्लेजिज्म के सॉफ्टवेयर्स हैं वो रन करते हैं और एक कुछ लोगों को उन्होंने करा भी है, उन्होंने डिबार भी किया हुआ है एग्जाम के लिए कि उनके जो ना मटेरियल दे सेड दैट इज ऑल बीन कॉपीड फ्रॉम समवेयर। और दूसरी चीज ये है कि सिनेरियो को और आंसर को वेल डिफाइन करने की कोशिश करें, आपके उसको डिफाइन करें और ज्यादा नहीं लिखें। यानी कि आई हैव सीन दैट कि अगर आपका पॉइंट पूछा जाए कि आप 2 ऑप्शन दें तो यू हैव टू गिव ओनली 2 ऑप्शंस, यू आर नॉट जंपिंग टू द कंक्लूजन एंड अदर थिंग्स लाइक दैट, जिसके अंदर ऑप्शंस का दिया हुआ है एक सवाल और दूसरा जो है जिसके अंदर जस्टिफिकेशन दी हुई है। यानी you don't have to write too much, you have to write according to the question asked. Govind Saab, when I was giving the exam, Govind have guided me on these things. So जो guidance दी गई है उस guidance के अंदर जितना सवाल पूछा जाए उतने का जवाब दिया जाए।
That's correct.
Govind Saab,
yeah, that's correct. I think यही मसला होता है कि काफी सारे लोग जो है ना कुछ होते हैं जो ज्यादा लिखते हैं कुछ कम लिखते हैं ना, so you have to bring a balance in between कि उससे आप अपना जो क्वेश्चन के रिक्वायरमेंट भी मीट करें, and as Salman mentioned that don't use the words which they have asked not to use it and try to use the words which they have used in their examples as well. So it is if you follow that, then it gives you more value to the question, you know.
जी सलमान साहब कोई क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स, आपके कोई सजेशन?
I said, thank you very much. I think I would like to thank, first of all, Mr. Asif Zaman, because mashallah has been pioneer of this Pathways program. Obviously, I didn't have the pleasure to see Mr. Govind, but again, I think ek to kafi hai. And the other idea
Govind
for the
Saab is helping out so many people, and he mentor me. He's my mentor. He's my friend also. We work together
So he's our
back in Pakistan.
he's our
Yeah.
Dada Ustad. He's our
Ustad Govind, Govind
Yeah.
and me were, working in a Grand Hotel in Karachi at
Yeah, yeah.
Simon.
So I think that would be, then he is our, I would call it Dada Ustad. And the idea would be we are available to assist any candidate who is basically looking for answers. I think what Mr. Asif already have more than hundreds of ICAEW member he has mentored. My score is roughly around 25 now. But what it does is it gives you so much good platform. Not this attempt, the last attempt, 3 team members from my department, all were ACCA. They passed the, ICAW. So they were ACCA. They were doing ICB work under my team, and they got the time, and they did it. And one of them got the job in the Big Four as a manager, and the other one also got a job in industry. So again, we think that once we pass the CA exam, और पाकिस्तान में खासकर है कि आपका सीए हो गया तो आपको पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. That's a different myth. It doesn't work here. So again, education always is, important. It gives us it gives us confidence. और ये है because again, what we have seen is कि जिस तरह कंट्री की इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशन होती है, उसकी एजुकेशन की भी वर्थ ऐसे ही होती है. And I would just request everyone to consider it very seriously. 2-3 हफ्ते की effort है, and if you put it, I think 2 or 3 hours in the morning or 2 hours in the evening, so it's good enough. आप एक क्वेश्चन लिखें, उसको रीराइट करें, फिर उसके साथ हैं फ्रेंड्स के साथ डिस्कस करें. अगर कुछ इशू आ रहा है तो स्टारबक्स पे चले जाएं, तो वहां से आपको थोड़ी सी इंस्पिरेशन मिल जाएगी. तो अगेन आप इसके साथ देखें, बट बी योरसेल्फ इन द आंसर्स. आप किसी का नहीं है, बिकॉज हर बंदे की अपनी स्टोरी होती है, अपना एक कैरियर पाथ होता है, और आप जब अपने आप को वैसे प्रोड्यूस कर रहे होंगे तो दैट वुड बी वेरी मच हेल्पफुल टू यू. और आपके चांसेस हैं. माशाल्लाह, वी हैव सीन पीपल हु गॉट इवन, उस्मान थे, ही गॉट 92 मार्क्स. तो ये तो इतने मार्क्स तो हमारे मैथ्स में नहीं आते थे जितने उन्होंने पाथवेज में ले लिए हैं. तो आई थिंक देयर आर सो मेनी candidates who are so smart, so hardworking. They have done so much dedication. So it's अच्छा है. I think 390 pounds इसकी फीस है. You just have to, I think it's 300 for इसकी pathways की फीस is 300 pound. Roughly आपका 1500 दिरहम बनेगा. आप अपने मोबाइल फोन अगर लेने जाएंगे तो सबके पास एप्पल या एंड्रॉयड फोन है, तो आप 2-2,500 दिरहम, या अगर आप आईफोन फैन है तो रफली $1,000 लगा देंगे. Whereas उससे कितने कम कॉस्ट में यू आर गेटिंग योरसेल्फ the one of the most oldest and reputed accounting qualification in the world. गुलाम अब्बास का एक अफसाना था 10वीं में कि कुतबा के नाम से. तो मैंने अक्सर लोगों को भी देखा है कि कुछ लोग अपने कुतबों पे भी, कतबे पे भी लिखवाते हैं कि ये सीए था. So that's on the other side, but again, I think सबसे अच्छी इन्वेस्टमेंट जो मैंने देखी है वो आपकी अपने ऊपर होती है, अपनी एजुकेशन पे, अपने प्रोफाइल पे. दैट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट. और इसका फायदा ना सिर्फ आपको बल्कि आपकी फैमिली, ऑफस्प्रिंग, सबको आएगा. और ऑब्वियसली वर्ल्ड का ये ग्लोबलाइजेशन है, तो आपको यूरोप में भी जॉब मिल सकती है. आपको आयरलैंड में इस वक्त काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंक्वायरीज आ रही हैं. यूके में दोबारा, ऑल्दो दे गोइंग थ्रू रिसेशन, बट स्टिल अकाउंटिंग में जॉब्स आ रही हैं. इसके साथ आपका सेंट्रल यूरोप में जॉब्स निकल रही हैं जो स्पेशली, एंड देन यू कैन मूव टू द अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड आल्सो. they can give you the passport और आपको better job opportunities हैं. ऑस्ट्रेलिया काफी ज्यादा लोग मूव हो रहे हैं, तो उसके लिए आपको काफी हेल्पफुल हो जाएगा. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स. इस पे मैं कंक्लूड करूंगा. अगर फर्दर आपको कुछ भी हेल्प चाहिए तो यासिर साहब अवेलेबल हैं, आसिफ साहब हैं और मिस्टर गोविंद हैं. तो
Yes.
जैसे भी अगर आपको कोई हेल्प चाहिए तो वी आर अवेलेबल टू असिस्ट यू. थैंक यू.
यासिर भाई.
Thank you very much, Salman Saab, and rightly put in terms of क्योंकि हम finance professionals जो है ना, we always understand the word of ROI, return on the investment. The investment is mere 300 pounds, but the return is much more than that. In terms of getting a bigger and a different professional network, access to that, also at the same time, more job opportunities. And then for those people who are planning to move outside Pakistan or outside UAE, for that matter, I think this qualification is the need, like I mentioned earlier. And then Salman Sahab, again, आपने बड़ी सारी बातें की, and then as a part of it, another important point was education, learning is an iterative process. And then as chartered accountants, we feel कि जो है ना, ये एक destination थी where we have reached the last destination, which is not true. And then in this competitive world that we are living in, where new qualifications, certifications, technology is taking over at the same time, I think having more than one qualification or certification is pretty much important for us. You never know where we end up. लोगों के plans तो होते हैं, but पता नहीं होता कहाँ कब जाना पड़ जाए. And then at that point in time, it is important that we get that this qualification. Just closing this session, I would like to thank Asif Zaman. Asif Zaman, you've been like Salman Saab said, you were a pioneer of this as a council member of ICAEW and then past president, chairman of ICAP. You've done a lot for the people, and then what we know that you're always there if the need be, of any sort, any support that we would be needing, especially on this subject. And Salman Saab, thank you very much for pulling out time and always being available. And thank you very much, Govind Saab. Everything that you've mentioned and said, I think it will go a long way. And then I'm sure it'll add a lot of value to all those participants who are there and then who will eventually listen to this offline or later date. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
everyone
much.
for attending.